Do you ever notice signs and synchronicities that seem like a coincidence, but they kind of freak you out because they're so on par with what you were thinking? Like, what if you're walking down the street thinking, should I go on a date with this person? And suddenly you hear sirens? I would take that as a no. Or what if you are buying a house and you're on the property and you're not really sure, you're asking for some kind of affirmation, and you look down and you find a lucky horseshoe, which is an ancient symbol of good luck and protection? So, those are positive symbols and signs you can find. So, I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and this is Boss Up Goddess. I want to talk to you tonight about signs and synchronicities that can help you discern what's best for you. So, I have had the most bizarre experience lately. On Sunday, April 11th, number 11, I started seeing the number 11 everywhere, like everywhere. And it was 11:11 a.m. The place I was supposed to go had the address 11. I would look at the clock, and everywhere I looked, number 11 or double 11 was showing up. So, as a spiritual person, if you read my book, God's Answer is No, Lessons from a Spiritual Life, I explain, I have a whole section on how the universe, God, creator, source, the universal intelligence is always speaking to us in signs and symbols. For example, if you're walking down the street and you're worried about something and you look down and you see a feather, the feathers are symbols from the divine that you're safe. So there's all kinds of things like that. And once you become attuned to them, you start noticing them more and more. It can be as simple as, I always see red cars, and then suddenly you see more red cars when you declare it. So my sister said, I was explaining this to her, and she's like, yes, that's your reticular activating system. And that's a part of your brain that is, it like takes an idea and then it scans the world to affirm the idea by finding evidence for it. So, for example, here's one. If you are in a relationship and you think your person is cheating on you, you've set that in your head. Your reticular activating system is going to be scanning everywhere. So, every little thing is going to be interpreted as a suspicious question mark about their fidelity. It might be totally innocent, but because your mind is skewed in that direction, then you might see those little signs and symbols to affirm your suspicion. In this day and age of the coronavirus pandemic, unfortunately, our reticular activating systems are all set to scan the world for hazards, which is legit, but every little cough you might hear, every person is suspect of being a person who's carrying the virus because our minds are like scanning the world for danger in terms of this very contagious and deadly virus, unfortunately. So, I want to talk with you about the positive signs and synchronicities that can occur when you set your intention for something grand. So, let me just share. April 11th was the full moon in Aries. No, the new moon in Aries. The new moon in Aries. The new moon is a time of a new cycle. It's a great time to utilize, harness that energy to create something brand new, and you have whole 2 weeks of energy. And then when the full moon comes, it's a time of illumination and reflection. So I love to follow the moon patterns because it really helps me manage my energy. Like during the full moon, I have insomnia. So I know I'm going to be more sleepy. I just cannot sleep during the full moon. It's bizarre. And then during the full new moon, I like to launch new things. So for this new moon, I set out to leave negative thinking, old thought patterns, habits, mindsets in the past, and literally view the 11 as a gateway to step through with the new moon energy and the fact that it was April 11th. And April is the fourth month, and four is my favorite number. It's I'll talk about that in a minute. But Gateway, April 11th, new moon. So I had already set that intention. So when that day came, these numbers like were everywhere. Mile marker 111. Um, go to this address 111. The it was so many, it was made me dizzy. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. I was hearing it, I was seeing it, and I was just resonating with this idea that, wow, I set this intention to walk through this gateway of the new me, the new Elizabeth, who's totally bust up goddess. And I'm leaving the baggage, the negative thinking, the habits that I don't want anymore in the past. And then the universe provided all this evidence. And it continues. Like last night when I went to journal, what time was it? 11:11. I'm telling you, it's bizarre. So what I take that as is a magical affirmation from the universe that I am right on target. And guess what? I'm having revelations, like psychic downloads were happening on the 11th. I was journaling, I was doing automatic writing, which I've talked about before, but automatic writing is essentially when you get still and quiet and you start journaling and you ask a question of the divine voice within yourself, which I believe is the voice of God, goddess, creator, source, universal knowledge, whatever your belief system is, or it can just be your inner voice. I call it the divine voice within because that's how spirit, that's how the divine speaks to us through us. So, when you journal and use intuitive writing, you're allowing your intuition to speak faster than you can think. And that's how I know these lightning fast downloads or revelations from spirit are spirit. It's not Elizabeth's mind. So I was doing on the 11th, I was doing some intuitive writing. You take your pen, you press it to the paper, in your head, you ask a question, you start writing and the divine will speak to you or your inner voice will speak to you. And the reason you know it's your inner voice, again, it comes faster. It's almost too fast for words. It's like an imprint, a knowing, and you just write it. You just keep writing. Then you ask another question and then you just keep writing. And pretty soon you have answers to all the questions you're asking. So I was asking some significant questions about major things and I got clarity, I got guidance, and it came from source. It came from a pure space. It came from my divine voice within, which again is a source higher than me, channeling through me, through my pen onto the paper. It's an amazing tool, especially if you're indecisive about something. And that's when this looking through the eyes of your reticular activating system to get affirmation from the universe. And I'm telling you, once you set your intention for that, you're going to be blown away. You're going to be stunned. You're going to see things everywhere. So I was thinking about something the other day about how long a particular thing was happening, and I was driving on the freeway, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, when is this gonna? I just want to do this already." I look up, there's a big truck in front of me, and what's the name on the truck? Heavenly Express. So to me, that was a message that spirit hears me and stuff is going to move faster soon. Just be patient. Heavenly Express is right in front of you. So watch whatever you're thinking about and then just listen, observe, feel, and just pay, really pay close attention. So, for example, today I was thinking about something and I went outside and I heard the wind. The wind was so unique. I don't know why, but it was just a whoosh in a very unique way that I'd not heard before. And it was like, just listen. And I did, and I got some like psychic downloads that just really guided me, and it was awesome. Other things are, in addition to numbers, lucky symbols. Like my friend who was looking at the property and looks down and finds this really old really old horseshoe, and horseshoes are symbols of really good luck and protection. We looked it up and it was just blowing, mind blowing. And so sometimes street names, city names, signs, um, labels, you might hear a song, you might be thinking about a person or a situation and wondering what you should do. And then you'll hear a song in that moment that might have some lyrics that give you an answer. It's really wild. But again, once you open up your mind to hearing these messages, and it's really powerful because I was out recently and, there's a pandemic, obviously, and I had to go to the bathroom. And I tuned into this voice, and the voice told me, don't use the restroom on this particular floor, go to the lower floor to go to the bathroom. And I trust that because it was protecting me. And guess what? The When I walked past the restroom on the floor where I was, line out the door, winding down the hallway. Okay? And that means there's lots of people, there's lots of, well, you've read about, I don't need to get into that, but higher risk. So I went to the other bathroom and there was hardly anybody in there. So that voice will always guide you for your best interest. Now, how do you amplify that divine voice within, and how do you sort of sharpen your perception so that you're more attuned to the signs and symbols of the universe? Meditation. Meditation will enable you to amplify that voice inside. It's your intuition. And again, it's spirit speaking to you if that aligns with your beliefs. When you meditate and you do certain practices like clear your chakras, those are the non physical energy centers in your body where negative energy can glom onto you and cloud your thinking or fill you with anxiety or negativity. When you clear that away on a daily basis, you open up the channels to hear that guidance, to hear your intuition, that divine voice within, source, God, universal um, field of knowledge speaking to you. It also opens your mind to receive the signs and synchronicities of the universe. And so, a daily commitment to the meditation, um, just getting still and silent for a few minutes by yourself or with a group. I lead a guided meditation every Wednesday evening on Zoom. It's free, 8 o'clock Eastern. All you have to do is sit back, close your eyes, and relax. I guide you through breathing. I guide you through an energy shower, cleanse, chakra clearing, and a guided meditation. So this summer, it'll be 11 years that I've been meditating, and it really, truly is magical because it relaxes you, first of all. It relaxes you. And secondly, it attunes you to that divine voice within and amplifies the intuition and sharpens your focus on all these amazing symbols that the universe wants to share with you. So another one is when you attune to this energy, you start to attract people, situations, and opportunities that are in alignment with this newfound mindset and perception that since I stepped through that gateway on April 11th and started seeing the gateways everywhere, which meant to me, you are constantly stepping through gateways through your thought process. And sometimes conquering our thoughts, our negative thinking, can be one of the biggest challenges in life. And so we need some tools to do that. So a big part of my stepping through the gateway has been really taking time early in the new moon energy to set my intention for what does the new me, what does Elizabeth, when she truly bosses up to be the goddess that I and you are born to be, empowered women in mind, body, and spirit, doing positive and powerful things in the world and enjoying our lives moment to moment. because that's all we have. What does that look like? So I use mantras when my brain starts to spin in the wrong direction, worry, fear, doubt, anxiety. I use affirmations, and I'll say them out loud if I need to. We are safe. I am goddess. Fleeting pleasure, books forever. Magic, miracles, and millions are mine now and forever. Those are mine. I also have different prayers that I say, and I say them out loud because when you speak, it forces your brain to focus on your mouth to talk instead of dwelling on the spiraling out of control thoughts. And so those mantras keep me on track. And so I write them down also and I journal them each night. And so it's a constant repetition to reprogram my brain so that I can leave all those thought patterns and such in the past and step forward fearlessly and fearlessly as goddess. So you've probably watched my show where I talk about where the goddess concept came from, and it was a terrible moment when I was in a really bad situation being verbally abused. And all the terrible words were like jumping around in my head, and I was at the gym. This was a long time ago. I was at the gym on a machine, and I think it was a stair machine, and I was going really fast to like burn off the energy, but the words were all in my head. And I'm like, no, I'm a queen. Because this person had called me terrible names. No, I'm a queen. I was trying to like diffuse it. And all of a sudden, I heard, you are goddess. Now, I had never used that term before, and it didn't seem like it was my voice. And all of a sudden, I saw this like silver transformer box in the middle of my head, and all the horrible words in my mind were going into this like silver square in the middle of my mind. Actually, I later learned that the pineal gland, which is where our supernatural third eye powers reside. It's a gland in the middle of our brain, and it's our third eye, which is right here, which rules our intuition. So anyway, I heard you are goddess. I saw this silver box. The words, horrible insults were going into the box and flowing out. Power, goddess, peace. And that in that moment, I knew it was God, goddess, telling me, goddess is the female version of God, which is spirit energy. And so I knew spirit was telling me that I have God, goddess energy in me. It wasn't you are a goddess, you are goddess, you are that energy. So that transformed me in that moment. And that's why one of my main mantras, especially if I'm stressed or doubting myself or 10,000 other negative ways the thought patterns can go, I declare, I am goddess. I want you to say that too. It's a major thing that I teach in my book, Boss Up Goddess, Start Living Your Effing Potential. Effing can mean anything you want it to mean, including fulfilling and fascinating. It's really fun because I want you to have fun with this. I'm having a ball. Every time I saw 11:11 on Sunday, and since then, I'm just like, oh, really? This is just getting hilarious, okay? So I want you to open your eyes, open your mind, open your heart, open your spirit to receive these divine signs and synchronicities from the spirit realm, from the universe, that are there to guide you, protect you, affirm you, and warn you. Because if you see something that's clearly an ominous symbol as you're thinking a certain thing, take that as a sign, a warning that's real. Sometimes spirit will speak to you. I've shared many stories, like I was 2 summers ago, I was driving down the freeway and I really wanted to go to a particular store. It was not sunset yet, but it was getting close. And I really wanted to go to this store and get some fresh produce to make a salad for dinner. I'd been out all day. It was before the pandemic. And I kept hearing in my head, don't go to that store, don't go to that store. And I'm like, there's always lots of people. It's a nice store. I can just go there, go in, go out, busy, busy parking lot. Easy. It's a nice place. So I'm hearing, don't go to that store, don't go to that store. And again, it's that divine voice within, intuition. And I pull in the parking lot, tons of people, cars, daylight still, evening. Don't go to that store. Don't go. I pull up in a parking space near the door, and I'm like, see, everything will be fine. Pull in. Suddenly, this man comes up to my window out of nowhere, and is like he looks hysterical, like he wanted me to open the window. He didn't look. He was scared. He scared me. He startled me, and I'm like, wow, they warned me. So fortunately, my windows were up and locked. I pulled out. I went home. And I'm like, don't ignore that guidance. It's there for a reason and it will be persistent. It will be repetitive until you honor the guidance. So that's one of so many stories that I have that are really, really powerful. And when you attune to this energy and watch for the signs and synchronicities, it will guide you. Life will get easier because you'll feel like you have this team of assistants helping you every step of the way. So it's real. And once you set your mind to it, you are really going to be in awe because that's how I've been all week. And it's only Tuesday. So I'm really excited to see what is going to happen after this. So I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins. This is Boss Up Goddess, and I'm here to help you find that power within, light that fire, blaze, ignite, and be the powerful woman in mind, body, and spirit that you were born to be, to make a positive and powerful impact on the world and on yourself, loving life. Please watch again tomorrow and most evenings when I go live, sometimes solo or with a guest, with women who are trailblazers and share their wisdom to help us all live bigger, better, and bolder. And we sure need that right now. So remember, boss up, goddess. You have the power. Hey, guess what? My book is on sale. You can please pre-order it on our website, twosisterswriting.com. I actually have moved the for sale date to July 11th, which is my birthday. I'm really excited about that because I am going to be launching some amazing programs to coincide with the release of the book and shortly thereafter. So pre-order your copy now so you can get in on all these amazing activities that will help you boss up, goddess. Okay, twosisterswriting.com is where all the excitement begins.